So here we are in Blender and we're going to do some wrap lighting. Here we have a composition where we're set up with a foreground to be keyed with a keying node. We also have a background, and we've also masked out the garbage around the character, feeding into the factor, the image, background, and then the foreground going out to our viewer. Now, what we want to do is take some of this background and overlay it onto our foreground. So we're going to do that by first adding a color invert node. Now normally if we take a look at this alpha matte, you're going to just see that black, the alpha channel, where white is solid and black is transparent. And I've cut out that garbage around with this mask node up here, done in the movie editor. So what we're going to do is feed that into that invert node, and you will see that it will make it the opposite. The character is now going to be transparent and the background is going to be solid, because I want to now take that background, which is going to be our lovely scene in the background, and we're going to blur it by adding a filter blur and put it on there. And you will see that it will now, when I put it either in that little box there, or I can and it is there, and give it say 5 or 10 pixels blur on the edges, on the X and the Y axis, and now you can see it's blurring. So our lovely scene is going to blur into the hole that the alpha channel makes. Then I'm going to, I want to cut out the back, so I'm going to take a math node under converter math, and I'm going to subtract. Let me do it here. I'll make sure it's done over here. And I'm going to take that that blurred alpha channel, and then I'm going to subtract the original inverted alpha channel, and I'm going to get transparency all except for this little blurred line around the figure, where the figure is going to be. Then I'm going to add another converter, which is going to be set alpha, because I want to be able to use that alpha. And if I put it on there, you'll see there'll be no change. But the thing is, it has 2 sockets. I'm going to feed the original background here with all the color and everything into that alpha node. Into that alpha, set alpha. So it's going to take the alpha, and sorry, I've got to put the alpha, that subtracted alpha, into the alpha channel, and the picture into the image. So now it is going to cut, use that alpha channel to cut the color, basically, from the background and make up this little patch we're going to put on top of our original. How we're going to do that is simply by adding a color mix node and put it in here. And I'm going to feed the original, the finished composition into the background, which basically is going to look like this, and feed the little stamped bit on top, and I'm going to make sure that I've got my alpha turned on there so that it's going to show up. Now we have here the spill light spilling over onto the puppet here, as you will be able to see if I shift that. This is the original without the spill light, and then you can see the blur here spilling over onto the body. Now that's a little bit too strong, so we go to the mix node and we can turn the factor down to say half or a third or something like that, 0.5, and it's not quite so strong. I can also, if I find that's bleeding too much there, I can also reduce on the blur node just by reducing the depth of the blur. In this case, I'll just make it half of that, 5 and 5. So there it looks. We can looks a little bit better. We can also minimize all those, or we can shift select all of that little process and go to node, make a group, or Control G, and it will make one. Then tab will turn it down into a little segment on its own. So you can use this basic setup again for other things by just substituting your foregrounds and your backgrounds, your mask, and that should give you the whole deal. So you can reuse this setup. And that is wrap light. That's with it, that's without it. Just makes a little bit of a difference to integrate your character into the background by having colour from the background bleeding into on top of your character. You see?